Well, everyone, George Ramblin' Man here. Hope everybody's doing well. Saw a couple of vlogs recently where some people had kind of discussed the reasons why they ride the bike that they ride, and challenged some other riders to do the same. I don't know if it's called the 3 R's, 5 R's, I don't know. I can't remember. But I thought I would do that as I cruise these country roads of North Georgia today. Man, what a great day to be out. It was really cool this morning, but it's warming up nicely. It's a bright sun, and it's just beautiful. I'll tell you, one of my favorite views is coming around this curve here. And then if you kind of look off to my left as I pass this barn, it's just a gorgeous view into the Appalachian Mountain foothills. Is that gorgeous? Man, what a great place to ride. Anyway, getting back to the subject of this little mini vlog here, and this will be a short one, of why I ride the bike that I have. And as many of you probably know, they're my subscribers. If you're not and haven't listened to any of my vlogs before, I'll tell you what I ride. I have a 2005, yes, that's correct, 2005. The bike is closing in on being 15 years old. It's a 2005 Suzuki Boulevard C50T cruiser style motorcycle. The 50 stands for 50 cubic inches, which corresponds to about 802 cubic centimeters, cc's. So as you can see, it's mid-size. I mean, it's not a starter bike down at 250 or anything, but it's obviously not the big V-twins and the big touring bikes that are 100 or cc's or more. But for this bike, it's really a pretty nice engine. To me, it's got nice power. I like it. Again, it's a 2005 model. It's liquid-cooled, 5-speed. The only electronic gizmos it has is things that I've added to it. This Garmin GPS, my GoPro remote, the extra camera, all these other little goodies. Doesn't even have a fuel gauge. I have to reset the trip meter every time I ride, every time I fill it up. But why do I have this bike? Well, interesting story, and I've shared this before, but I rode motorcycles as a kid for a lot, and as a young adult, and then for really a long time in my young adulthood and kind of middle-aged time, I guess, I just kind of didn't ride. I was busy with kids and my career and various things, and I didn't ride very much. And about 7 years ago, I decided, you know what, that's really a hobby I enjoyed. I'm going to get back into it. And I started looking around for a motorcycle. Really didn't want to spend a huge amount of money. Didn't want to buy a new one. I didn't know what the basic thing was. I didn't want to go into debt for a motorcycle, and I kind of still refuse to go into a debt for toys, whether it be boats, motorcycles, anything discretionary. I don't like to go into debt for. So I was looking around for something used, and I kind of set a price range for myself of about $5,000 or $6,000. I didn't really want to spend more than that. And I quickly found out that the used motorcycles from Harley Davidson or Indian, late model used bikes with only a few miles on it, were going to be much more than that. So I started looking around at some other bikes, and I've always ridden metric motorcycles, Hondas. Really, Honda's the only other motorcycle brand I've ever had. But I really wasn't, committed to any brand one way or the other. And so I started looking around, and I like the cruiser style motorcycle. I mean, I had all kinds of dirt bikes and standard bikes, when I was younger, but I really wanted this cruiser style, like the Heritage Softail, Road King, Boulevard. Yamaha has their V-Stars. That's the kind of style that I wanted. So I looked around and I saw the Suzuki Boulevards, the C50s and the C90s really had the look that I like. So I just started looking around and I found this motorcycle for sale really close to me. And I bought this in 2012, maybe 2013, maybe either 2012, 2013 I bought this. It was already 7-8 years old, but the guy who had it had bought it new, hadn't really ridden it very much, and it only had 7,500 miles on it after 6 or 7 years. But it was in great shape. It needed new tires, but other than that, it was in great shape. And I got it for $4,000. So paid cash for it, and I thought to myself, well, I'll keep this bike for a couple of years, and once I kind of get back into the swing of things on motorcycling, I'll maybe move up to a bigger Harley Davidson or Indian or something else, after I get a chance to decide what I wanted. And that was 7 years ago, and I'm still riding this thing. And I guess the reason is because I like it. I like the style. I like the way it looks. It's very reliable. I have had no mechanical issues with it. I'm on a second set of tires. I'm really just changed the fluids and did the basic maintenance. I am getting ready to put a new clutch on it. That's one thing. In fact, I'm just coming back from Freedom Power Sports in Canton. I went ahead and ordered all the parts for the new clutch. I've got an appointment in a couple of weeks to take it in and have it done. I had the service done on it several weeks ago, and the mechanic mentioned to me that the clutch was starting to slip in the higher gears and it wasn't going to get any better. And since I have some trips planned for later this spring and this summer, I didn't want to get out on some country road and have the clutch go out on me. And I really don't know if this is the original clutch in the bike or not. I've never done anything with it, and I've had the bike for 7 years. So I told the mechanic, you know what, let's just do it. So I ordered the parts today, got an appointment in a couple of weeks. It'll probably be $500 by the time it's all said and done. Just the parts I ordered today were $300. But it's just a cable clutch, and it's it's fine. But I'm just going to get it replaced. So Stoney, we get together and ride later this month. You might have a shiny new bike, but I'm going to have a shiny new clutch. So I like the motorcycle. It fits me. It's comfortable. I did have to change the stock seat to a Mustang seat, which was a great thing. I put some highway bars on it, and the driving lights, and I've put some luggage rack. And I put some things on it to make it more suitable for me. It still doesn't have the anti-lock brakes or cruise control, but it's an older bike and didn't have those things. But for the price, I think you can't beat it. And I've said this in my review when I did a review a year or so ago of this bike. If you're looking for a good bike to kind of get started on, if you have a little bit of experience riding motorcycles, this is a good one. It's light, it's easy to handle, very comfortable. It's got all the power you need, really. And I like it. So the reasons I have this bike, it was cheap when I bought it. I love the way it looks. I love the styling. I love the comfort. And when I retire, I am going to get a new motorcycle as a treat to myself. And I've got a little motorcycle savings account that I'm contributing to, and I'm going to go in and pay cash for it when I do. And that's maybe a year or two down the road. But for, until then, this bike is really fine for me. And I don't know what I'm going to buy. I change my mind all the time. I think, I go through a period where I'm in love with this bike or that bike, and I don't know what I'm going to get. Just before I sign off here, I thought I'd say a few things about some of the vlogs and Facebook posts I've been seeing from my friend Mike Haley 7 up in North Carolina the past week or so. He bought a brand new Honda Goldwing, and he had a really nice Harley Davidson, I think Ultra Limited, very beautiful motorcycle. He put a stage 4 on and done a lot of upgrades to it, and it was a great motorcycle. He loved it. I met Mike at Hootenanny a couple of years ago. Great guy. But he, you know, he was. I could see when he was making his decision of whether to trade in his Harley to get the Honda. He was torn. I mean, he'd always owned Harley-Davidson motorcycles his whole life, and he was torn. And he actually told me when he made the decision to do that, some of his friends and subscribers on YouTube and Facebook made some rude comments, and you know, basically said, "See you later." You know, if you're not riding a Harley, I'm not watching your channel anymore. And I just kind of find that amusing, how some people can get so emotional about a brand of a motorcycle or a car or really anything. You know, my opinion is kind of ride whatever you want to ride, and I don't have any ill will towards any manufacturer of cars, trucks, motorcycles. When it comes to motorcycles, I think there's plenty of manufacturers out there that make fine motorcycles, and whatever you want, that's what you should get. You know, a lot of people have budget constraints, and that's fine, you know. So I just found it kind of amusing to listen to his vlogs and hear some of the things that he was saying about the comments that he was getting. You know, nobody's ever made any, you know, bad comments to me about my motorcycle, but I'm sure there's people who would think, "Oh, George Rambling Man, what are you doing on that Japanese motorcycle?" And, you know, when it comes to buying American, I like to buy American when I can, and I say that as I have a Samsung TV in my house, and I have my wife drives a Honda car, but you know, you know, in fact, Michele7 even made this comment on one of his vlogs. You know, the line between American made and non-American made these days is almost blurring a little bit. You know, they assemble a lot of Japanese cars in this country. I'm not sure if they assemble any Japanese motorcycles or not, but they certainly assemble a lot of Japanese cars in this country, with parts from probably all over this country, Japan, everywhere. And I know that Japanese motorcycles and European motorcycles and probably Harley-Davidson Indian, I'm sure some of their parts are not all American either. But you know, it is what it is. Ride what you want to ride, and you know, the main thing is you need to be happy and comfortable with the motorcycle that you have. I guess that's the bottom line on anything. Well, those are the reasons that I ride this motorcycle. I love it. It'll be a sad day when I have to part with it. Hope everybody has a great week. This is George Rambling Man. So long, everybody.